All right, so in my opinion, everyone and their dog should have a marker system in place. What is a marker system? Well, a marker system is pretty simple. It's a set of words sounds that your dog recognizes to mean specific things, like you did what I wanted, you're doing something I don't want you to do, stop it. You're doing the right thing, keep going, things like that. So today's markers that we're going to be using is yes and good. Those are going to be our terminal markers and our continuation markers. Those are really just fancy terms for those marker words, but I'll show you what it is in practice, and hopefully that'll clear everything up for you. So Mochi, come here, mama. So our marker word yes is going to be our terminal marker, and it simply means you did the right thing. Here's your reward is coming. Yes, that is our marker word. So I can use that, for example, when I ask her to sit. Yes, and then I can let her know that that is indeed a sit. Especially when we're teaching, that's very useful because we can just clear up some communication instead of our dog guessing that that's what we wanted and they did the correct thing. We can be very consistent and good with our timing because we've got a single word that means to them, your reward is coming. Good. So good is your continuation marker, and it means keep doing what you're doing. In this case, it's stick around, look at me, pay some attention. So how do we teach our marker system? It's very easy. It only takes a few sessions for dogs to really start catching on to this word. I recommend using breakfast or dinner or any meal that you're going to put down for a bowl. Before putting the bowl down, just take a couple pieces and do some repetitions. I always recommend between 10 and 20 repetitions every session, and you can mix it up with other things like their name. So same thing, instead of just saying yes and feeding to charge this word with value, we're going to say their name. So Mochi, and then feed. And after, maybe even in one session, after several repetitions, you should start seeing your dog kind of perk up when they hear that word that you've been practicing. So yes, feed, yes, feed, yes, feed. Don't do yes, yes, and move your hand at the same time. Try to finish what you're saying before you start moving, because our dogs are very visual learners and they will always end up relying on your body language if you're not good with your timing like that. Yes. And here's a great example of why I use this word, even if it's not for teaching behaviors. Someone's approaching us and my dog's watching. Instead of letting her load up and start barking, I'm going to say, yes. Good girl. Come here. Yes. Go find it. Hi. Yes. And so what I'm doing there is I'm changing her perception of things that could possibly be um, a negative perception in the past. Because food is a positive thing, yes has been a positive thing, and it's so supercharged now that it will turn her away from distractions. So I can use that to my advantage. If she was afraid of people, for example, or if she was afraid of anything that we were coming across, I could start changing her perception of that by using yes in conjunction with seeing that thing or getting closer to that thing, or that thing getting closer to us in the sense of a person walking up, for example. These are all just examples, but it's great to start thinking or understanding why we're charging this. It's not just for training behaviors. You want this to be supercharged. This way you can use it anywhere. But we start with low distractions, and slowly work our way up. So start in your living room, in your backyard, somewhere your dog's familiar and not too easily distracted. And then slowly work your way up to higher distractions like out here. But even here, there's not a lot of people. You work your way up to being able to do this around lots of people, other dogs, really anything, but you got to think of it in levels. Your dog can't just handle a level 100 distraction with 15 people and 7 of them are walking their dog and there's kids playing around. That's a lot of distractions, and outside stimulation that is going to distract your dog and make it harder for them to focus on what they're doing. So to charge your yes marker, just say yes and move. But remember, try not to pair your movement with the words coming out of your mouth. Try to finish the words you're saying before you reach your food down. Because again, our dogs are very visual learners and they will forever rely on that body language instead of the word if we don't separate those two. And then to finish off, I'll just cover our continuation marker. It's really just keep doing what you're doing. This helps us with like long duration obedience commands. It can help with just implying that what they're doing is good behavior. Keep doing it. But a reward's not immediately on its way. It might come a little later. So just to show you with some obedience, because it makes it easy to see, a continuation marker would look something like this. Mochi, sit. And then I can walk away from her for duration obedience. Good. That lets her know that's what I want to see. Keep doing that. Good. And that helps her out. Instead of me just being quiet until she gets her yes, this helps her stay there. Yes. And then when I want to give her a reward, I use my yes. Now, if you want really good stay command, I don't use a stay. I just, once I tell her to sit, it's implied that that's a stay. If it helps you be more consistent to say stay and then keep your dog accountable and keep them there, use the stay command, but it's not necessary because what matters is how we follow through. So I've asked her to sit. If she were to get up, I'd just pop her back into a sit. And then when I want her to get up, I have two options. I can tell her okay, which is one of her release words, or FREE, free. Typically, free is more followed up by a reward. That could be good. That was a great example. So I thought she was going to get up. And for my sit command to stay consistent like this, I have to follow through and keep her in a sit until she hears those words that I just mentioned. But she was just adjusting. So I can then tell her good, since that could have been a moment for her to get up and go do whatever. I've been talking for a minute now. And she didn't, so I'm going to let her know that that was a good choice by telling her good. She's really good at sit because we've practiced this her whole life, so she doesn't need a yes and a reward for something like that. But that doesn't mean I can't recognize that she is still doing a good job. There's grass and birds and all kinds of stuff here that she could be more interested in than just sitting next to me. This I don't mind because we're just hanging out and she's not moving away from here, so I'll let her lay down. Good girl. But anyway, if you want this to happen, use what's called a release marker. That's a sneaky third marker I can include here. It basically just means you are done with what I asked you to do. You can go do whatever you want. Now, my okay one is just do whatever you want. Free is technically the same thing, but sometimes free is followed by me throwing a piece of food or throwing her toy as the reward. But lots of dogs, and mine does too, they just find going into the grass and sniffing and doing whatever they want rewarding, so that can be the reward in and of itself. When you're first teaching behaviors, it can be kind of hard to do that because then it can be hard to pull them away from those rewards. But it is something to consider. If your dog isn't treat motivated and isn't food motivated, then using the environment, the things that they want to go do as the reward for listening is going to be your way forward. Otherwise, what incentive do they have to listen if there's so many better things out here? You have to be the access to those better things. Okay, good job. And ideally, your dog is excited to interact with you, to work with you, to pay attention to you for whatever it is they're working for, that they do this. They don't just take off and go sniff grass. And, when we're on our walk, she does that anyway because that's what we're out here for. But having some moments where you and your dog interact and they're giving you full attention, take advantage of those times and use them to practice your obedience. A couple mistakes you might make during this type of loading of your marker words is overusing them. Everyone does it. just be mindful now that I've told you, you know that you might be overusing yes. Try to really only use it when you can guarantee that it'll be followed up by a treat. It doesn't have to be the very second, especially after a couple sessions and they start understanding that yes means something. There can be a couple seconds between you reaching for your treat, for example, and giving it to them after you've said yes, but don't just repeat yes over and over again. Try not to drag out your yes command. So some people, they'll go yes. Now, if that's it every time, then eventually your dog will learn it too. But it is better to use kind of more of like a snappy yes, short. Try to do it in the same tone every time so that it's this like perk up sound that they recognize. That's the practice. Repeat it once to twice a day. So if you do this with a breakfast and then you maybe also do it with dinner for 2 times a day, but you also just give your dog a treat every now and then throughout the day, just say yes before you give them their treat. Especially if they go lay on a bed to eat their treat, walk them over to their bed, see if they step on the bed when they see the treat, and then say yes when they step on there and give them the food. Those are just great natural small moments that you can incorporate this command marker so that it becomes like a natural part of their day. It's not just when we're training this word has meaning. It has meaning all the time because at any moment you could be rewarded for making good choices. Okay, I think that's it.